Welcome to the Never Quit podcast with your host, me, Quentin, also known as Quote. In this episode of the Never Quit podcast, I will be interviewing Baniaha, Dailey. Enjoy. Peace. When you hear the term never quit, what comes to your mind personally when you hear that? You can pick the circumstances that fit your mind. So when you hear the term never quit.
Never quit. So, man, a big reason why he was able to actually get me to sit down was like, man, I want to know more so from your perspective as being a paramedic, right? And so I think looking at that as being maybe the perspective that I'd like to be able to kind of stand at here as we think about the words never quit, I think more so would be like, can't quit on a call, right? As a number one provider with the city and county of Denver, right, we were running more than 1,500 calls a piece, right, a year, and so there's no there's no button to be able to skip, one call and go over to the next one. Right now, I don't want to go on that shooting. No, I want to go on that stabbing, right? And so never quit. I think what that kind of speaks to me is that we can't quit until, we get the patient to the hospital, right? And we're able to actually say, hey, we have done everything we can be able to do as far as our certification and furthermore in our human capability, right? To be able to help out and be able to give our all and we can't stop, right? Until the call is over with, right? And luckily, right, over the years I was with the division, I was able to, say that, I was able to quit the division, on my own, right? Instead of it being, like my life being ended or something like that on a call or something like that.
How long were you with the Denver paramedic, correct?
Yeah, I was with the Denver paramedics for almost 7 years, different capacities, and not all that time completely on the streets. I started off as a garage grunt in 2016, March of such, as a vehicle support technician. We called them the bread and butter of the division. They pretty much set up everything for the ambulances, got everything situated for the paramedics. There was a vision that, the paramedic be able to come in, grab the radio, grab their keys, and hop in the ambulance to be able to go out into the city and face whatever Lord has for us outside of those doors, right? And so did that from March 2016 to January of 2017. Got on the streets January 17 as an EMT after I got certified the summer previous to that, and then ran that ran that full time for almost 2 years. Kind of walked into an opportunity to be able to work for Faces for the Future.
Okay.
And that's a national coalition out of Oakland. And so I was given the opportunity to be able to craft an EMT program that was based here in Denver, but with that coalition in light. And so did that program for almost a year. And then after that track kind of ended, went back out to the streets, became a paramedic, went to paramedic school during COVID. That was kind of a trip. And then kind of came from, I finally actually got into the streets as a paramedic and hired as a paramedic in January of 21, and then got off the streets as a full-time paramedic July 5th, July 5th of last year, and went over to the EMS education side. I did that from July 5th all the way to December 14th, where I resigned from our position and now on to some other future endeavors.
Baniaha Dailey, tell the people personally about you. Did you grow up here in Colorado?
Yeah, man. Grew up here in Colorado, man. First off, the first apartment I could be able to remember, first home I would be able to remember was off Billings, right? Like literally, feet away from where Elijah was was killed, right? And so,
okay.
I went to Sable Elementary for kindergarten, right? And then from there, I ended up moving to Park Hill with family, and I stayed in Park Hill almost until like middle school. We moved out to Aurora. We was finally able to actually get our own home, right? And there was a lot of things wrong with that home, but nonetheless, we had a home, right?
Exactly.
And then we moved to somewhere different. Moved out to Green Valley after that, and from eighth grade to all the way through high school, stayed in Green Valley, and and then from there went to Tuskegee University in Alabama. Did that for a year, CSU for 3 years, and then I have a medley of other situations that occurred after that.
That's what's up. Baniaha, be more clear for people who are not familiar with Colorado and those areas. At some time, those would have been considered urban areas. When you were growing up, did you deal with gangs at all? And if you did, can you describe any of your experiences with that, avoiding them or being in them, whatever you want to share?
Yeah. So I personally, I think was lucky. I was told by my cousins some time ago that we do it, so then that way you don't have to do it. And so I was blessed enough not to be placed onto that track, right? And then also not be able to probably stand in front of you now, right? I'm sure with the influence that could have occurred right during all of that. And so,
Correct.
Just being raised in Park Hill, right? There's a lot of there's a lot of gang activity that could be mentioned. I think growing up, right? As far as like Bloods and Crips, right? Like I was raised not to go to the other side of Colorado Boulevard, right? Every time I went to the side of Colorado Boulevard, like if it was a party or something like that, like we would be right away from a shooting. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like it would be something legit like that would kind of like reinforce the reasons why, right? You weren't even supposed to be going over there, right? Let alone to the other side of town and going over to the west side, right? Where if you're over on the west side and it's more so of a Latino and Hispanic kind of community, growing up it was so much of a taboo, right? That's kind of become a word for us today already, man. And it was so much of a place where you weren't supposed to actually be found at, right? Just due to the fact that it was something different. And I think that could be looked at different now compared to back then. But nonetheless, that is, I guess, kind of what I know. And then I got cousins, close family friends from Mount Bello. And there was a lot of like Crip activity out that way, right? But at the same time, like man, I've always been shown love, by my fam, right? And it's never been a situation of like, Baniaha, you need to do this or not, right? I think in times I wanted to dibble and dabble. They were like,
yeah. Exactly.
Nah.
Smart decision.
Yeah, man. It was good, man. Truly a blessing, man. I say often, man. Not too lucky, but super blessed.
Awesome. Is that what you wanted to do growing up? Did you always want to be a paramedic growing up in those circumstances, or just kind of land in your lap? Respectfully.
No, by all means, man. It kind of landed, and I kind of wanted to do it, man. I didn't want to be a paramedic, man. I wanted to be an EMC. That's what I knew, right? I didn't know what a paramedic was until I actually started at the division in this in this new like garage grunt moment, and saw somebody else walk in with a different colored shirt, and was like, "Who are they?" It was like, "Oh, that's an EMT." Well, what's everybody else? What's like the other 100 and so odd people, right? That we're seeing, just walking in out his door. It's like, no, they're all paramedics. So I was like, oh man, well, I need to be a paramedic. That has all the keys, man. That has all the juice, right?
What makes a good paramedic? Let me ask that again. What makes a good paramedic?
I think willing to just put yourself out there, right? We walk away from every call, luckily, right? And I think that, once you walk away, you have to be able to deal with the things that you've already kind of, I guess, lived through, right, during that call, right? And so if you're putting your whole self out there, man, like you might end up losing yourself on that call, right? Because you're putting your whole self out there, right? And so there's a fear to be able to do that. And I think that with that fear of pulling your whole self out there comes, I think, burnout, man. You know what I mean? Because of the fact that, you might not be treated well after you put your whole self out there, right?
True.
And in the 911 calls that were going on, right? Like, you cannot be able to say, I don't want to go on that. You know what I mean? Or even when you're there and things aren't going good, you can't say, okay, I'm ready to go, right? Right? You still have to put your whole self out there to be able to make sure that that care is actually given, right? Appropriately, right? And so I think like the full commitment of actually putting your entire self out there makes a good paramedic, right? And I think honestly, like, reason why I had to get off the streets is that, like, if I'm not able to fully be able to put my whole self out there, right? Like, and I'm not getting the work-life balance, right? To be able to make sure that I can be able to put my full self out there still, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the caliber I was running at, whatever that may be, right? That it might be, time to be able to move on to maybe something else that's going to fit my life now compared to where it has been over the half of a decade.
Okay, perfect. So can you tell me how the paramedic business works? Even though you briefly described it earlier about being on certain things before you became an actual paramedic, like being an EMT and the duties in the, what did you call it?
Vehicle support technician?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you don't have to go backwards in the interview, but just kind of basically explain the steps of what it takes to become a paramedic or EMT.
Yeah. To be able to become a EMT takes 6 months of school, or some institutions have like different kind of fast track programs, right? Where you can be able to come in, more times out the day, and then more times out the week, to be able to make sure that you can get the hours that are needed as far as the national registry is concerned. So usually it's a 6-month program. And then from there, either one kind of clinical rotation, like ED rotation, ambulance ride, and then along with skills that have to be done as well, right? So there's certain type of psychomotor skills testing that has to be completed to be able to actually sit for the psychomotor side of the test. So there's a for the cognitive side of the test. So there's a psychomotor part, which evaluates your skills as a EMT student, right? And then the other side of that is a cognitive test in which you have to take. And it is a computer-generated program that consists of a set questions, a base set of questions, and then from there, they're computer-generated based on however you answer those questions. And then from there, if you pass that test, you receive your national registry mark as a EMT in that situation, and that'll give you certification for 2 years. And then to be able to practice in the state, you have to license in your respective state, whatever that may be. And then to become a paramedic, you have to be an EMT. And then usually it's a year didactic with 500 hours for clinical rotations on the ambulance. And so at Denver Health, when I was there, it was 50 10-hour ambulance rides, right? And then also there was other clinical rotations that you had to do throughout the hospital as well.
But Naya, what are some of the tragic or most memorable moments that you remember as being an EMT or a paramedic? Ones that stick out.
Man, I'll tell you what, I keep on thinking about this one call, and it says, like, at times, like maybe that isn't it, but it just keeps on sticking out. And so I guess this is the story. I'm usually not keyed up for the question either. Like with the answer, like when people ask that, oh man, what was the worst call you ever been on? Like I'm not keyed up with the answer.
We want it to be realistic here. I just want the answer for the moment now.
Yeah, no, it's all good, bro. No, it's all good, man. Kind of crazy, man. So the call that keeps on sticking out is these two kids that were standing across the street from each other, and they had a shootout. I don't know what the quarrel was, but they're just shooting at each other from across the street. We come in, and there's, they've already like taped everything down. And we kind of scoop and go, if you would, just get the patient and try to be able to get in the back of the ambulance as fast as we can to be able to render care. Here in the city and county of Denver, we are medical control, so we dictate what Denver Fire is going to do. And so we say that we need 2 firefighters, right? And then myself, there was another paramedic that was going to be in the back, and then also we had somebody else that was would be driving. So we were 3 up that night, is what that's called when there's 3 actual medical providers. And so he had to be 16, man. Had to be 16.
Okay.
Had to be. If not younger, man. You know what I mean? Like trying to give us some years, you know. And I'm trying to.
Did you see the actual shootout, or was
No. Yeah, right. And that's the thing about EMS, man. Like you never see all this stuff, right? Because everybody calls 911 afterward. You know what I mean?
You're there to help,
right? And so like I'm sitting there in the back of the ambulance with my patient, with this 16-year-old male, and the paramedic that is in the back with us, he's holding a blanket to the back of his head, and because it won't stop dripping, and like I'm on one arm, and I'm trying to be able to place an IV, but I can't place an IV when there's not a bullet, you know. Man, gosh, dude, we got firefighters trying to hold direct pressure, you know what I mean, to different places. It was a trip, and it was just so much blood and we kept on saying like, we're just gonna keep on working, right? Like it doesn't feel like it felt like. It didn't feel like we were gonna make anything change, right? But like it didn't like, but he also wasn't gone, right? Like he still had a pulse, right?
Okay.
And like you know what I mean? Like I mean, so like, what else are you gonna do outside of work, right? And so, man, and I never got follow up on that, right? But that is the call that keeps him just sticking out, just like this kid, just riddled with bullets from head to toe. And like everywhere that you looked, it looked almost like just a bunch of bee stings on him, right? Because the bullets just didn't get all the way out of his skin or something like that.
Personally, did that ever affect your psyche and make you ever want to quit or walk away from that line of work? I know you briefly in the intro kind of went over some stuff quickly, but did situations like that trigger, is this worth it?
No, I think I signed up for that.
I respect that.
Yeah. Straight up. I think explanation would mess it up more. You know what I mean? Like
there's no wrong answer. That's your answer and the right answer.
You know what I mean? Like I'm really I think when we all get into business, right? Like I think like when you hear, oh man, what's your worst call? You think it's shootings. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? So like I think that's why why I was so down to be able to sign up, right? Because I wanted to be there in somebody's worst day, right? Call 911, this is your worst day, right? I mean, it wasn't the hard calls that made me quit, right? It was like the I guess like that would make me want to quit, right? It was the moments of like feeling like I missed another Christmas with the fam, right? Oh man, like, you know, here comes another New Year's, right? And, you know, here's another birthday, right? Here's another vacation, right? That I can't be able to make because I feel bad for calling in for my 10 hours. You know what I mean? To say I'm not going to be here today. You know what I'm saying? So, like those are the moments where I'm like, man, like I probably missed out on a bunch of stuff, you know, over the past 6 years. You know what I mean? That I could have been doing with my family, you know, and maybe even been further with probably been further with my like intermittent family, you know, my immediate family, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, man, I think that's more so kind of like what I walked into, right? Knowing that I'm gonna be there for the you know, shootings, the stabbings, the car accidents, the heart attacks, the strokes, right? Like the cardiac arrests, right? You know, it isn't the pronouncement, right? It's the work, you know, as you know that the pronouncement's coming. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
Like it's not, you know what I mean? Like it's but like that still doesn't make you want to stop and quit. You know what I mean? Because you're because you were committed. You walked in committed, you know? It's the commitment, right?
And that's why
per why you're here.
I want everybody to hear everybody's different answers. That's an excellent answer. No wrong answer. That's just the correct answer for you. My next question is a 3-parted question, and you can answer it however you want.
All right.
Name me 3 things you will never quit doing to make the world a better place while you're here now.
I'll never stop trying to help my fellow man. I'm sure of that. I think that's a real big push on me all day, you know. I'm sure I'll never like stop wanting to, you know, help like just like my fellow man, and you know, and that doesn't mean like giving my fellow man money, you know what I mean, or like advice or something like that, but like whatever I can be able to give as far as the parts of myself that I can be able to contribute, by all means, I'm happy to be able to do that, right? And I think that speaks back to, again, keeping in, full circle of this paramedic idea, right? And like, I mean, gosh, man, we were talking off camera before this, and I was like, yeah, hell yeah, I miss it.
Yeah.
Like, hell yeah, hell yeah, I miss running around in the streets, and helping. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I was getting fed, Gosh.
And not to backtrack, could you please make it clear to the people why you decided to step away in case they missed that?
Yeah.
You don't have to go into deep detail, but maybe it rolled over because I know you explained it in the intro.
No, by all means, man. I'm long-winded. So I left to be able to, I guess, honestly, I felt like there was more so of an opportunity I think I could be able to find outside of the desk that was, thankfully given to me after I walked off the streets at Denver Health, right?
Awesome.
I cannot be able to say that Denver Health didn't give me all the opportunities that I asked for, right? I mean, for sure, like, there's some money, there's some money on the table, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, like, man, all the opportunities I was given, I think are uncomparable, especially since the world of EMS is very limited, right? So to be able to say that, man, I was a vehicle support technician, an emergency medical technician, a program EMS liaison for a national coalition for Faces for the Future, right? I was an emergency service patrol provider, right? I was a paramedic. I was a paramedic instructor, right? I instructed a course with them at SU Denver. As an affiliation with Denver Health, right? Like, to be able to be given all of these opportunities and scholarships as well, right? Like, I cannot be able to look back and say, man, wow, no, like nothing was given to me by Denver Health, right? But I walked away just because of the fact that I felt like I was able to do more for, I think, for my fellow man, going full circle, and like, then I guess the opportunity with the desk that I was given. Right. So I more so walked away from that. And it also gives me more opportunity to be able to be around my family. Right. I have a kid. I just had my first son. Right. His name's Cairo. And I'm married. Right. And so to be able to be at home and like I popped the question, man. I popped the question and I started at Denver Health like a week later.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
So like the whole time we have like been as a union, right, has been with underline of Denver Health. Okay. So like if I could be able to step away from being, 40 hours a week as a 911 provider, and it's not even 40 hours because it was 15 hours a day almost, right, that I would be completely untouchable for my family, right? And so to be able to step away from that and be in a different place to still be able to help, and then also like with entrepreneur like opportunities that are here and available for us in the 5280, right? I think that there's ways how I can still be able to be financially stable and still be able to like maybe walk down a path that I more so want to be able to walk down currently. I think that would help out the community.
That's what's up. So now back on track. Name me 2 more things that you won't quit doing to make the world a better place while you're here.
Excuse me.
You're fine.
I think one thing, man.
This will be 2.
Yeah. I don't have 3.
Oh, okay. That's fine. Hey, that's fine.
Working on 3.
Okay.
Number 2, man.
Number
2 for sure, man, would be to be able to cultivate through collaboration, right?
Okay.
I think that's totally, I think where we miss it, right?
Right.
Literally, how we sitting at this table right now, right? Is just through the want to be able to cultivate through collaboration, whatever that look like, right? Whatever that looks like. Like, let's just get together and let's gel and let's just see what you got, see what I got going on, right?
Build.
And let's just roll. Yeah,
relationships are key.
Right. And like if we don't, link, man, like maybe this is a new bruh, right? Like whatever the case may be, I think that there's just a place where there has to be a want to be able to make something out of us just coming together, right? So that cultivation through collaboration. I guess I do have 3, man. And I got it from man, what is her name? Jesus. This respectfully woman who used to work for the city and county of Denver. I cannot remember her name. Jeez Louise, man. But she told me one time, she said sharing information is key. And man, I have ran with that ever since, and so anytime I learn about something, man, immediately I try to be able to just tell anybody else about it. You know what I
what's
mean?
up.
And like if there's a place where I could be able to say, hey, like I know about this or whatever, I'm down to be able to share it, right? So then that way, maybe you could be able to share it on, or maybe that's going to be able to help you, you know what I mean? Or as you share it on, maybe it helps the next person, but like, just like how you said, man, building together, right? Building, right? It's all through this idea, through collaborating, right? And without this want to be able to share this information, to collaborate with each other, I really don't see it. There's a continuation of real, not a chaotic society. For real, bro. For real.
So have you traveled outside of Colorado? What's your favorite place to travel to thus far that you've been to?
So I used to work for Frontier Airlines. I did that for a while, and I went to Vegas, man, countless times. Can't count how many times I've been to Vegas, right? But man, my favorite place, gosh. Maybe Atlanta,
Okay.
maybe Atlanta or New York, man.
Okay.
I got to go to New York last year for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
and that was kind of crazy, kind of blew me away, right? But I feel like every time I think about Atlanta, I can't wait to be able to go back. You know what I mean?
So it's a cross between the two.
Yeah, man, for sure, bro.
Where's your dream place outside of the United States that you want to travel to?
I want to go to Maldives, man. Yeah. That would be amazing. Be able to take the wife out that way, you know what I mean? And like just have a bungalow in the water for some time, and kind of just be able to kick back. Man, and I like to be able to go to Egypt. And my son's name is Cairo, but like, regardless, I think like there's just a lot of history there, you know what I mean? And like, I think I like to do all the excursions kind of deal, you know what I mean? Like try to learn about what's going on, I think that's man, I guess that's what I got. Yeah,
That's what's
bro.
up.
Yeah, man.
If somebody was to take one thing away from this full interview, Baniaha, what would you want them to take from this?
That I try my best to stay true to character, and that I don't try to reinvent myself like past what my actual character is, right? I think that we all need to rebuild ourselves, recreate ourselves, right? I think that everybody has to do that at a ton of time, right?
Of course.
I think that there's a time where like you have to kind of shake like whoever you were, right? And try to see maybe if there's like a new, like, maybe something else that is, kind of laying underneath, right? And so, but at the same time, I think that would be my like numero uno that I would want somebody to take away if they were listening to this. That I just try to stay very true to character, to who I am, and try to just be very, very forward with, I guess when my answer is going, forward in life, man. I don't know, man.
There's no wrong answers, my man. I throw these questions at you like crazy.
Man, I don't know. It feels like a bad, wrong kind of answer,
No, you good. All your answers are right.
It's my answer, but still, man.
If you could change one thing about the world today, what would you change? You only get one.
Access, for sure. Just like that ability to be able to have access, regardless of who and whatever level, whatever set, whatever, it doesn't matter. Like just equal access for everybody.
That's what's up. Okay, I'm sitting here with Baniaha, Dailey. We're going to end and sum this interview up of the Never Quit podcast. Tell the people how you want to be reached and where they can reach you now.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you having me, man.
It's nothing.
First name Baniaha, Baniaha. Last name Dailey, Dailey. Baniaha Dailey at gmail.com. That works. And appreciate y'all having me. I'm also on LinkedIn.
Okay, awesome. That's it, my man.
All right.